Yes, the NFL does have a scheduling problem. Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon Perna, and the Broncos-Patriots game has been rescheduled again to next Sunday, October 12th, after another member of the Patriots organization tested positive for COVID-20-1. This was after the game had been moved from Sunday, which is today-eth, aka the 11th, to Monday afternoon. So 2 reschedules. Now this is in addition to the Steelers-Titans game having been rescheduled last week to later in the season, and now the Bills-Titans game being moved to this Tuesday, which is still not a day set in stone. Why is this a problem? Well, because we're only in week 5, and the NFL is forcing teams like the Steelers and the Broncos to use their bye weeks during weeks they've already practiced, which sucks. But the bigger issue is they're going to run out of bye weeks soon. I will tell you what the NFL should be doing, because I'm a genius, to make sure this season doesn't turn into a full-blown disaster where COVID goes undefeated against the NFL. Whew, that's good, sports. You know whose schedule doesn't get complicated? Mine. I make videos whenever the hell I want. So subscribe here so you know when that is. The NFL also suspended reporter Ian Rappaport for promoting Manscaped on his social media accounts. Well, Ian, to that I can only say this one thing. Today's episode is sponsored by manscaped.com/goodsports, and they're accelerating their body grooming dominance with the Performance Package, which now includes the Weed Whacker to clean the shrubbery protruding from your nostrils and even your ears. The Weed Whacker is the only nose hair trimmer on the market with a cordless, rechargeable lithium-ion battery that lasts for up to 90 minutes of use. Now, I'm no doctor, but if it takes you more than 90 minutes to trim your nose hair, you might have a serious medical condition, and I suggest seeking help yesterday. Unlike your pubes, there's no hiding nose hairs that get too long. And if your nose hairs are too long, how can you smell your pubes? So take 20% off of your nose hairs with the Weed Whacker and 20% off of the price of the Performance Package when you use my discount link below. Start manscaping now. Now, before the season, the NFL said, "We are fully prepared to cancel games if necessary to keep our players safe." 3 weeks into the season, it has become clear the NFL is going to do anything but cancel games. Instead, they are turning their schedule makers' brains into mush. Please cue the "It's Always Sunny" meme now, as those schedule makers scramble to reshuffle NFL games. Here is their current plan for the Broncos and Patriots, and the Broncos are kind of being negatively affected for having no positive tests in this situation, which that actually makes sense. The team with the most negative tests shall not have anything positive happen. So instead of saying, let's reschedule the Patriots-Broncos game for after the regular season and push the playoffs back, we will force the Broncos and Patriots to have wasted their bye week right now. Then we'll move the Broncos-Patriots game to this Sunday because that's the Patriots' scheduled bye week, even though the Broncos have already been scheduled to play the Dolphins. But we can move that game because nobody is interested in watching a Broncos-Dolphins game. So we'll move that to week 11 and then force the Broncos to play the Chargers week 8 on their bye because the Chargers are scheduled to play the Jaguars week 8, and nobody will notice if we just completely cancel a Chargers-Jaguars game. If that all sounds batshit crazy complicated, it's because it is. NFL players are obviously upset about losing their bye week, and I think Ryan Koenigsberg said it best. Imagine going to school all week, being told you have to go into school on Saturday, and then being told on Sunday that was spring break. That's just what happened. And nobody fucks with my spring break. Here's the really stupid part of the reshuffling. The NFL is assuming players and coaches are going to stop getting COVID now. No more COVID starting now, and everything will be fine. As long as nobody else gets COVID, this schedule reshuffle will work. Inevitably, though, more games are going to be moved, and when every team has already used up their bye week, whatever the hell that means this year, the NFL will be out of options. What they need to do is use the month of January for makeup games, and then only play necessary makeup games. For example, if you just cancel Broncos-Dolphins right now and reschedule their makeup game for January, there's a good chance those two teams will have been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. So you wouldn't have to play it, right? I think you could use the first 2 weeks or even all of January to play makeup games and then start the playoffs and move the Super Bowl back right now. Do that now. A March Super Bowl sounds pretty sexy to me. This is a complicated situation with more moving parts than, I don't know, an NFL locker room full of naked players all helicoptering at the same time. A scenario I know you've thought about as much as I have. The NFL without a bubble type situation is going to have to endure these positive tests and outbreaks like waves crashing on the shores of a beach. Every proposed solution provides more problems and hurdles. Even with a makeup game week or 2 weeks or month in January, you have to plan for those makeup games to also be moved or reshuffled when positive tests emerge then. Unless the NFL knows Santa Claus is the only true cure for COVID. Yes, Odell Beckham, you have to sit on Santa's lap to become immune to the virus. Have any scientists tested the sit on an old man's lap for immunity yet? This is what happens when you write a video at 8 a.m. on a Sunday. What have we learned? We have learned that the incubation period is no joke. Remember, when all of the medical professionals were saying this virus has a long incubation period back in March? Turns out, those idiots who study this shit for a living know what they're talking about. Stephon Gilmore, perfect example of that. There's a very good chance he got the vid when he had dinner with Cam Newton. Not last Friday, but the Friday before. He was tested Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, all negative until Tuesday. When the NFL first moved the Broncos-Patriots game to Monday, I was one of the few people not pissed because I knew this was the exact reason for that. So you can't complain about the NFL being properly cautious and also not bitch about them going through puberty and also bitch about them not taking player safety seriously at the same time. Well, actually you can, as long as you don't promote luxury ball shaving products on your social media accounts. The NFL can't touch you. Look, I think all real football fans are rooting for the NFL to succeed. My criticism of them isn't in hopes that they shut down or cancel. Like, I want them to figure this shit out. But I think the NFL needs to be a little bit more creative with how they're doing this. The last thing I want to do is not have football to watch for the next few months. Because I think I have maxed out how many times I can rewatch The Office. The Tennessee Titans may be the first super spreader after they play the Bills on Tuesday, if they play the Bills on Tuesday, as that testing situation is still ongoing. That would be a great game to play in January once we know for sure both teams are not contagious. As I believe those will be 2 playoff teams in the AFC. I'm all about extending the NFL season through March to make up for all of the views I'm gonna lose with the XFL not returning until 2022. Now here's the good news. We will probably see a Drew Lock versus Cam Newton game instead of a Brett Rippon versus Hoyer Stids game. That's a much more appealing game to watch, so that's a positive. And even though the phantom bye week sucks, it does give the Broncos a chance to see maybe AJ Boye get healthy, Jerry Atauchu, Noah Fant, KJ Hamler, and even Phillip Lindsay's toe another week to heal. That's a better situation for the Broncos. If any team can benefit from an early pseudo-bye, it is Denver. The other good news? I am 99% sure Broncos head coach Vic Fangio does not have Twitter. Because if he does, he's in for a rude awakening. He said this morning.
You know, and in a weird way, I'm kind of happy to see some of this stuff happen. because you see who the whiners are, who the bitchers are, and who can't handle adversity. And I'm going to try hard that the Denver Broncos don't fall into any of those categories.
If he did have Twitter, he would have quickly learned that all of his good players are whiners and bitchers. I'm quoting that because I didn't say it. I'm not even going to post which Broncos were bitching on Twitter because I would never put my team on blast like that. Now, I do applaud Fangio for making his best head coaching move to date. He kissed the NFL and the NFLPA's arse at the same time like he had two sets of lips.
The one good thing that I think's come out of this whole ordeal is the NFL and the NFLPA are working hand in hand, and they're working together on this. So I trust anything and everything that comes out of the league office, because I know the Players Association is involved with it and giving them their blessing. So we have both sides of the table here working together,
ensuring the next time the NFL has to reshuffle a Broncos game, it disproportionately screws their opponent. Smart, Vic, smart. So football fans, keep your schedules open in terms of when you want to watch your team play, because I think shit's gonna get hairy. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please come back tomorrow when I do the best and the worst of NFL Sunday. It's my favorite episode of the week. We upload them every Monday, and they are freaking all right.